Summary of this week's science news. Let's get right into it. NASA is shooting for next Friday, Christmas Eve, to launch its new space telescope, the $10 billion Webb. Considered the successor to the Hubble Space Telescope, it was supposed to launch today, but with a jolt and clamp during the launch presentation, it resulted in a 4-day delay. Then a bad communication link delayed it for another 2 days. Already late, the Webb will look back at the beginning of time to when the first stars and galaxies were forming. It will also examine atmospheres of planets that are closer to home. NASA has partnered with the European and Canadian Space Agency on this mega project. Back here on Earth is number 2. New Zealand will ban the sale of tobacco to its next generation in a bid to eventually phase out smoking. Anyone born after 2008 will not be able to buy cigars or tobacco products in their lifetime under the new law. The health minister said that we want to make sure that young people never start smoking. In recent years, vaping, smoking e-cigarettes, which produce a vapor that also delivers nicotine, has become way more popular with the young generation than cigarettes. New Zealand authorities warn that vaping is not totally harmless. Research has found hazardous cancer-causing agents in e-cigars liquid as well. At number 3, the study of a large-scale global assessment of plastic degrading potential of bacteria was examined. The research found that the number of types of enzymes that were discovered matched the amount and type of plastic pollution in the different locations. The results provided evidence of a measurable effect plastic pollution on the global microbial ecology. About 12,000 new enzymes were found in the ocean samples, which were taken at 67 different locations and at 3 different depths. The results showed that consistent higher levels of degrading enzymes as deeper levels, matching that higher levels of plastic pollution known to exist at lower depths. Soil samples were also taken at 169 locations in 38 countries and 11 different habitats and contained 18,000 plastic degrading enzymes. Nearly 60% of the enzymes did not fit any known enzyme classes. The scientists said that suggesting that these models degrade plastic in ways that were previously unknown. The next step would be to test the promising enzymes in a lab closely to investigate their properties and the rate at which they degrade plastic. From there, they could engineer a microcommunity that targets degrading functions for a specific polymer type. Number 4, Electrifying America. The Biden administration released an ambitious federal strategy Monday to build 500,000 charging stations for electric vehicles across the country. This will bring down the cost of electric cars with a goal to transform the U.S. auto industry. Vice President Harris said that the future of transportation in our nation and around the world is electric. The $1 trillion infrastructure law President Joe Biden signed last month authorizes a nationwide network of charging stations set aside with $5 billion. The law also provides an additional $2.5 billion for local grants to support charging in rural and disadvantaged communities. The auto industry is already moving towards electric vehicles, and we need to make sure that this shift is faster and make sure that it's driven by the United States. In concluding the 5 major topics of this week, we're back in space with the sun. A NASA spacecraft has officially touched the sun, plunging through an unexplored solar atmosphere known as the corona. Scientists announced this news Tuesday. The Parkes solar probe actually flew by the corona in April during its spacecraft's 8th close approach to the sun. Scientists said it took a few months to get the data back and then several months to confirm that this actually happened. Launched in 2018, Parker was 8 million miles away from the center of Earth when it passed the boundary between the solar atmosphere and the outgoing solar winds. The spacecraft has dipped in and out of the corona at least 3 times, each with a smoother transition. Parker will continue drawing even closer to the sun, diving deeper into the corona with its final orbit in 2025. On to the science snips. First, we go to Maine with food. Maine voters approved an amendment Tuesday that ensures the right to food, the first of its kind in the United States. The amendment to the state's constitution declares that people have a natural, inherent, and unalienable right to grow, raise, produce, consume food at their own choosing. This is future-focused, as the Constitution does not guarantee the right to produce your own food. This is important because the proliferation of GMOs and the patents that go could limit people's ability to grow their own crops. And Maine has ensured that corporations cannot jeopardize the people's ability to grow food for consumption and share it with others in small amounts. Speaking of food, we go on to the next subject in Amsterdam. Infra, an Amsterdam headquarters startup, grows food indoors in racks and has been valued at $1 billion after a new $200 million funding round. The co-founder and CEO said in a statement that the current food system is broken. He added that Infra is on a mission to build a global farming network for climate-resistant, vertical farming that are close to consumers. At the moment, the company grows 75 different varieties of herbs, salads, and leafy greens, but the company will want to grow entire fruits and vegetable baskets and sell the premium food at affordable prices to everyone. Infra's vertical farming are housed in growing centers, which are around 1,100,000 square foot in growing space. The company also builds smaller ones that are located in grocery stores. It currently operates more than 17 growing centers. The company claims that it can transform a space the size of a living room into an urban vertical farm that produces more than 500,000 plants per year. Next, we talk about windmill blades being recycled. The blades arrived in Tennessee to a point where they're about 2 to 3 inches in width and length. Then they go through a chemical process that cracks the polymer off, leaving monomers and glass to be recovered. The glass is made into fiberglass mats for boats, automobiles, and other windmill parts. This is true recycling, not downcycling or burning them to hide it or burying them. This system currently processes 1 ton a day, but it could be scaled up to reach 200 tons per day. Onto the fourth snip. IBM and Samsung have announced their latest advancement in semiconductor design, a new way to stack transistors vertically on a chip instead of lying flat on the surface of a semiconductor. The new vertical transport field effect transistor, VTFET for short, design is meant to succeed the old technology that's used for today's most advanced chips that could allow chips to be even more densely packed and be more efficient. In comparison to the old design, VTFET has the potential to reduce energy usage by 85%. The future improvements such as these could make cell phone batteries last for over a week, like the old days. IBM and Samsung have cited that the global chip shortage is their motivation to work further in semiconductor research and development. And lastly, back to health. Research has said that thousands of lives and hundreds of billions of dollars have been saved in the United States by the reduction of emissions by vehicles. Harvard University research studied that the environment and public health examined by the impact of declining emissions from vehicles over the past decade. They found that deaths dropped from about 28,000 in 2008 to about 20,000 in 2017, and that the economy benefited from the reduction with a total of $270 billion. But the research found that these benefits were limited by an increase of aging population and by drivers buying larger cars and driving more. That concludes the summary of this Science Week's news. All the articles are linked right below that like button. I hope you enjoyed. See you later.